Hello again! This week marks the 20th conversation that I've had with a photographer, and this one is a particularly special one too. My guest this week, his imagery is always supremely powerful, dynamic, punchy, colourful, and I'd generally say cool, much like his name. So the intro didn't work. That's a shame. Anyhow, Ruud Baan. Ruud Baan's photographic work is a combination of portrait, commercial, fashion, and sport, and is always with his signature of colour, power, and definitely energy. You feel it every time you see his shots. His speciality is about capturing that precise moment when something rock and roll happens, and he's done so for clients like Adidas, Puma, Under Armour, Coca-Cola and Nike, whilst shooting a lot of global superstars such as Cristiano Ronaldo, Roger Federer, A$AP Rocky and Armin van Buren. Besides photography, Ruud also works in video and has been a video director for numerous clips and commercials. He lives in the Netherlands, and right now he's hanging out with me. Please join me in welcoming Ruud Baan to your screens. There he is.
Ta-da!
Ta-da! Let's do the fanfare. The fanfare that didn't happen. Sorry, the ident didn't work. I'm not sure why. It always seems to be one other technical issue every week.
No worries, Charlie. No worries.
Regardless.
Thank you for the introduction.
That's all right. It's good. I don't use the applause very often. It's a special moment. Well, but because you're Dutch, I'm going to do the bicycle horn as well.
Oh yeah. Old school.
That's very old school. Yeah, I can picture you cycling around Amsterdam, honking your horn. How are you doing?
I'm good. Thank you, Charlie.
Cool. You look nicely clipped, like your logo in your beard.
Oh yeah. Well, the logo was I had a bigger beard at that time, but now I trimmed a little bit.
Yeah. Age has taken on a bit more of a distinguished look.
Yeah, you're right.
And you've been doing well. Obviously it's been a pretty weird 6 months for all of us, but you've managed to kind of get through it, and you've been doing some shoots recently. You've said to me, so back out in the field.
Yeah. So it was in the beginning of the COVID. It was really like the whole of the world, was like doing nothing. It was let's say that, and then it comes a little bit. But now it's holiday, so it's quiet again, So hopefully, I did a small shoot this morning, so hopefully more work is coming up in the next few weeks.
Yeah.
But it's hard, Yeah. It
is indeed. But well, look, if anyone can make it work, then you can, for sure, with all of your skills and your amazing shots.
Thank you, Charlie. Thank you.
Hey, well, we've had a pleasure of working together on stage in Berlin, so to speak. That was a pretty exciting shoot a number of years ago. We've both moved on, got a bit greyer, got a bit older, but we're going to hark back to some of the work that you've done. That you shared with me and talk around kind of your methods and the way you work, really. Now, on our marketing, on the little piece of marketing, I used a very striking image of A$AP Rocky that you shared with me. So I'm going to put that up on the screen now. Now, I was doing a bit of research. I read rather that it was back in 2014. This shot. I'm not going to pronounce this correctly, but the Umsjatka Studios in Amsterdam, I believe. Yeah. And after you'd done the shoot, he was whipped off to go and appear on stage immediately afterwards. Yeah. So, you clearly had someone with you who was hyped really to go and do a show. But this shot that I've just put on screen now.
No, he wasn't hyped at all.
No, well, this is it. He doesn't look like it. You know, he looks like a very calm and chilled out guy. Obviously, someone fully in control. What was it like to shoot him? This effectively enormous superstar.
Well, you know, I was honestly, I didn't know it was so long ago. You know, like 2014. So, well, I'm a quite big fan of him. So I was, well, let's say thrilled. He's coming over to the studio, and he was on time. You know, like. So we were chilling with him like for 6 hours. So he was doing his hair. Yeah, he was doing his hair. He was doing. We had 2 stylists on the set, and he liked the clothing, but he said I've got better clothing. So he how do you say that? He kept his own clothing from the theater, from the music hall. So. It took so well, you know, so we were talking and he was drinking and smoking, you know, so it was like, well, it was nice, you know, but like, we had like, so we started like late and then we had like 20 minutes we were shooting and then his manager said, okay, I said, sorry man, we have to go, man, he has to go to the gig, to the concert, so I was shooting like 5 or 6 different sets, 5 or 6 different shots, like in 20 minutes.
Wow!
And then he was like leaving the studio and went to the theater, to the musical right away. You know?
That's crazy.
That's crazy.
That's a classic kind of superstar shoot story, isn't it? You know, you kind of get them, and then you only have them for 3 or 4 minutes. I mean, you had 20, but.
Yeah, but he was in the studio like for 5 hours, you know. So he was so chilled, you know. And then suddenly he didn't know. Suddenly he was like, oh, his manager said, hey, you have to go to the studio, to the concert now. You know? And he was like, and he was gone.
So look, those all those different setups, were they? Are these all your art direction, or do they come from?
Yeah.
They are.
Yeah.
So is this all stuff that you've worked with them and approved beforehand, or did ASAP sort of turn up and you had them all set up? You know, did you have to get approval for all of those setups?
Approval from him?
Yeah.
No. He was like, you know, he's maybe. Oh, you know how it works, you know, we're sitting on screens, you know, so maybe he was looking on the screens like a few times, but he was totally cool, you know, totally cool with it.
Nice.
You know? Yeah, really nice, yeah. He's really nice guy, you know, loud music, and he was just like, really photogenic. You know,
yeah,
so,
very, yeah. I mean, you can see obviously his sort of career moved across into doing a lot of fashion modeling, and you can kind of see why from this shot and from the others. There's a couple of others, I think, of yours on your Instagram stream. But you know, this is such a cool shot. The way you've lit it beautifully, you can sort of just see his eyes in the background or through the lenses. You know, perfect like balance. I particularly like his green teeth. Actually, I think they're quite cool. And was there any relevance to the gold tube of paint? Is that one of his things?
No, this is because on his jacket.
On the lapel, yeah.
Yeah, no, that was the style he brought. This was he brought, and he liked it really, liked it a lot. So we put it on his jacket.
Yeah, it's cool. It's definitely the epitome of cool, that shot. You totally nailed it. I love it.
All right. Thanks, man. Thanks.
Hey, no worries.
But I've heard it was on the cover from a magazine, and I've heard it was like the how you say that, the worst sold magazine of that year. You know?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, well.
I don't know.
I don't think it's anything down to the photographic choice.
Well, it's maybe it's a different story. You know, it's interesting. You know, it's interesting.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, obviously, they say pictures sell, and maybe it didn't attract people, but regardless, it's still a cool shot. And if you know the backstory and how it all worked, interesting that you're the one that leads the art direction in most of these shoots. Definitely, when you look at say the next shot that you supplied, you have to talk me a little bit through this.
Which one is that? Is it the red one?
So it's the red one, Nick and Simon.
Yeah. Well, musicians as well, like two Dutch musicians, and their music is really like. Well, honestly, I'm not really into their music, and I don't really dig it, but they really, it's like soft music and.
It's frozen. Have we lost him? Reconnecting. Okay, we've had this happen once before. So the image that we're talking about is from a couple of musicians from the Netherlands. Hopefully, Ruud will come back and join us. Here is the image. Clearly, quite an interesting one. We're trying to reconnect with him on Skype. Studio-based shot. Looks like a pretty messy shoot. Powdered paint in there, maybe. Let's see if we can reconnect with Ruud as we go through this. Looks like we might have lost him. So if you haven't checked out Ruud's profiles, go have a look at him on Instagram. He's got some pretty stunning shots there. He likes to shoot a lot of very, as I mentioned in the intro, dynamic and very kind of graphical types of imagery, some of which we will have a look at. He is definitely known for trying to capture a mixture of sport and fashion with a very commercial look, which is why obviously he would have been commissioned for something like the shoot of ASAP Rocky. So the shot that we are hopefully going to discuss is of Nick and Simon. Now this guy is, I assume, one half of the duo, and was shot in what looks like an extremely messy studio shoot. Now, understanding from Ruud that he art directs most, if not all, of his shoots. We're trying to get him again now. Here we go. I think we've got him back. There he is. We lost him. It's all right. We've got you again.
I don't know. It's Holland, bad connection.
Bad connection. It's all right. Well, look, it's fine. I talked through it, and we had Nick and Simon red. What would you call it? Red paint. Paint area.
Paint. Yeah. So what I like about it is that they were totally open for this concept. It's like what they were thinking out of their comfort zone. So yeah.
So is it what's the basis of the red here? I mean, their music. I don't know the artists. What type of music is it? You said it was soft. Any particular relationship?
We're singer-songwriters. So like really like just one guitar and two singers, and that's it.
Okay.
Really like soft music. No, about the red. No, it's not particularly like. Well, it looks like blood now. That was not my intention, but it's like I quite like the red, because of the powerful of the color.
Of course,
pops out against the black. So yeah, it was more like and just play around with paint. So I quite like that.
Well, this is definitely a trait of yours. If you look at a number of your images, there's a lot of strong color, very punchy, very sort of dynamic here. Obviously, you've got the shot after the paint's been thrown, but there's images. There's a couple of images I love of some other Dutch personalities in some backgrounds where you've got paint being thrown across them from a number of years ago. It's definitely a thing that you like to do. Do you have any sort of formal training across kind of graphic design, or where does this all inspiration come from? This sort of edgy, sort of graphical studio setups with sort of light tubes and bright colours.
I don't know where it's coming from. I quite like it. What I like about like playing around with water and playing around with paint, you know, I like the how do you say that in English? You can't predict it, you know. You can't control it. That's what I like, and also like, especially with paint, you know, it's like. This is like small budget, so you can only do it once. You know, you have to do it right. And if you don't have to do, it's not quite right. You know, it's still okay. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do very much so. Freezing. I mean, it's freezing that moment. Again, it goes back to what was said, capturing that precise moment. You know, with paint or water or anything that would effectively destroy a set. You've really only got sort of one chance for that initial shot, but then you can still build on it and make it look amazing. But it's funny looking through a lot of your work. There's a very strong theme is sort of block colors, primary colors, sort of very graphical influences, especially with your studio work. Obviously, when you take yourself outside the studio, it's different. It's more sort of high-end commercial feel, which we'll look at. I mean, a slightly different shot though, not particularly primary colours, but one that definitely plays with the mind is this. It's the shot of Martin Stekelenburg. I can't say it. I'm not Dutch. No worries. Now here, you know, I don't have a set of 3D glasses, but I feel like I should have. Did you shoot this? Was this? Obviously you shot it. Did you shoot this with the intention of it being viewed through 3D glasses? Yeah.
This is. I think this is one of the nicest projects I ever worked for. You know, ever worked with. So it's with a small agency. It's called like 5890, and really cool guy, Marco, and he came to me and he told about it was for a supermarket. So he told me, I want to do this. I say, okay. It's quite. He liked my work, and so I said, so it's quite hard and expensive to do this, you know. And 3 weeks later, we were doing it, you know. So it was like, and then what I like it also, what I like also about it is I was involved from the beginning, so also in the concept, in the ideas, you know. So we shot like 2 seasons. We shot all the, let's say, the Dutch big soccer players, you know, from Johan Cruyff, Bergkamp, you know, the old school, and also the new ones. This is quite old, you know. I think it's like maybe 8 years old or something. But I still like the image, but also like the whole. The way we worked, you know, so
So the concept, did that come from you?
No, it's more like the concept was like it was for a supermarket, and they were trying to sell like a book and with small stickers, you know.
Yeah.
And on the sticker, they were like, you saw the soccer players, you know. So
right.
That was the concept, and then we make for every. So we had like him, like Martin Stekelenburg, who's like a goalkeeper from Ajax at that time. So he's now a goalkeeper again from Ajax again, but doesn't matter. But and then we were chatting, you know, like, hey, what can we do with him, you know? Okay, we do 3D, you know, this and this. And then we came up with this, you know, like.
So
Shot at once, yeah.
Is that hand is not? Well, how would I phrase this? Is that hand somebody's real hand, and you shot it separately and then posted it in, or is that a proper life-size hand?
Yeah, it's a life-size hand. Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
It's cool. Yeah. It's a life-size hand, you know. Yeah.
And did you have that made for this shoot, or did you source that from somewhere?
No, we sourced it. Yeah, we sourced it. Yeah. So we hired it from a company, you know.
That's wonderful. I wonder where that was actually used previously. It must be some sort of theatre set, I'd imagine.
Yeah, a lot of theatre, a lot of, or maybe it was like for a dance event, you know. They use like a lot of this. So and we shot with two cameras, for the 3D effect.
Yeah.
Shot it once, you know, with flash, obviously, and fantastic project, you know.
I need to go and source myself some 3D glasses to be able to see it properly, because I love this type of stuff. It's good. I can imagine that the book probably went down quite a storm, but it's always the aftermath when you've got the book and you can't find the 3D glasses that it's difficult.
They supplied it as well, you know. They supplied the glasses as well.
Of course, I'm sure there's a book of my daughter's upstairs with a set of them in, but I'm not sure where I could find it. But I'll definitely go hunt them out. Was this one of your favourite projects then? Would you say? Because this is definitely quite a different one.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Where do you? No, go on.
Because of the really short deadlines, you know, when we were like flexible and you have to, you know, how do you say it? You have to be flexible and work really close with everybody to get it right, you know. So it was really interesting and nice project. Yeah.
And why in particular did you pick out the Stickalenburg from them? Just because it's more dynamic?
No, honestly, I could also because it's not one of my favorite. I don't know. You know, I quite like it. You know, it's a good picture. You know, if I say it from my own word, but I could also choose another picture. You know.
Okay. And any of them in particular stand out as, you know, when they came in? Like ASAP, you know, the footballers, were they good to work with? Very responsive.
Really relaxed. All the. Is that right? Yeah, sorry, man. Yeah, they were all really cool. Yeah, all nice guys, you know. Especially because they, when they enter like the room, you know, and you see the whole like. The time and the effort we put into it, you know, they're like, okay, you know, and maybe we show them like other pictures, you know, what we did before with the other soccer players, and they were like, hey, I have to do it better, you know. So
how was the first one though? So you go, you know, you just say when they walk in, you show them a picture of the other footballers, but when the first guy walks in.
Not with the first one then, you know, but I honestly I don't know who was the first one, you know, I don't know. But the first project we did with for the supermarket, like when we were shooting like the soccer players, and at a certain time soccer players were calling like the agency, like, hey, we want to be in the book as well, you know, so they were calling us as well, yeah.
That's cool. That's definitely good. So you had a big queue of them outside the studio.
Well, we did like maybe at the most, you know, like four images a day, you know, like maybe 5 images a day, and sometimes we went to like Italy or to Germany. We did like 2 a day, you know. It was It's quite a time-consuming project.
Yeah. Tell me, do you feel more before we move on to the next shot, which is outside the studio?
Yeah.
Do you feel more at home in the studio or on location?
No. I quite like it. I like it both. I like it both. Well, in the studio, you've got more control about about the light, about everything, and outside. But that's what I like also about shooting outside. If it rains, well, it rains. So you have to be more, well, a little bit more flexible.
Yeah.
But I like the balance, and also like the balance between like portrait, editorial, and commercial work. Like a lot of, well, of course, I want to work commercially, but I want to do also like editorial work, or free work, just for your mind is better,
Yeah, definitely. I mean, all of your work really is focused around shooting people, though, isn't it? I mean, that's your thing, and you like to throw in sort of the elements of fashion, the elements of commercial, regardless of whether it is a particularly commercial shoot or not. Like the Nick and Simon is maybe less so in comparison. If you look at then the ASICS shoot that you shared with me, obviously, you shot for Adidas and Puma and Nike and so on. This particular shoot, you shared with me. I remember when you published it on Instagram. I think I could be wrong. I'm making an assumption here, but I think this is New York. Is this right?
No. This is Cape Town,
Cape Town. Ah, okay.
Yeah. But it could be New York. It's more like, well, that urban, like urban feeling. Yeah, it could be New York. A little bit.
This I think is quite classic. Yeah, I mean, I suppose it's quite an assumption of me to say New York, but that's kind of what I thought it was. But this is quite classic, Ruud. If I'm honest, like some of the stuff I've seen of yours over the years. Is this something that you put together, the creative behind, or were you come to by ASICS with the idea?
No. Well, like an ATC, a green room in Amsterdam. They make the whole concept, and and then we went to Cape Town. But what I like about this shoot is also for me it was like maybe you've not met the one, but I don't know, how can I say, maybe it was the beginning of using more like the daylight,
Yeah.
Certainly.
So moving out of the studio and using lighting for location.
I was also always using like flash, also on location. Like, because I want to control it. But now I let it, I was like more, I want to have it more natural, So so maybe that was a new beginning of, shooting outside, and also like short depth of field.
Yeah.
And what I like about the shoot was because nobody knew the talents, they were booked by the client, by ASICS.
Yeah.
ASICS. So nobody knew. It was like 6 or 7 people, and they knew each other. And I don't know. The energy was so good, So we were shooting like, I don't know. It was like so much fun, the whole day. We were shooting like 5 or 6, 5 days. So I've got a good feeling about this project as well.
They all seem very, very strong, crisp images, and also I think what's important is that they all know that from this and the other shots that I've looked at in your Instagram profile, they all look very natural, which is obviously very key when you're photographing fitness and sport. If you're photographing Cristiano Ronaldo or Roger Federer or Stekelenburg, all of those guys are going to be naturals because that's what they do all the time. They're used to it. But if you've got sort of no names, slight models almost, sometimes controlling a model is a bit difficult because they don't necessarily know how to do it. They're more used to
Yeah.
should we say, less movement. So these guys looked as though it sounded like they were a good crew, worked well together.
Yeah, and they were all like a good talent, you know. They were good in sport, you know, good, you know. But also like really comfortable for the camera, you know, and comfortable with us, you know. So it was, no, the energy was really well. Let's say a big difference if you're shooting like them or like Cristiano Ronaldo or like Maarten Stekelenburg. It's like they only give you like maybe like 30 minutes or an hour, you know, and to shoot with them, you know, like we can be shooting for days, you know. It's a different.
Yeah.
And okay, maybe it's nice to shoot over there, you know, over there. You know, we walk to, so you've got more time, you know? So,
very collaborative.
Yeah, you know, and different type.
Yeah, I mean, as opposed to you, and like ASAP Rocky, you set up these situations. He walks in, you shoot, and bang, 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 it's all over. Same with Cristiano, same with Federer, all of them. But these guys, obviously, with a talent that is less superstar, you are able to collaborate with them and move around with them more. And therefore, ironically, you end up capturing way more imagery.
Too much.
Which is too much. Yeah, exactly.
So if you got it, you know, like especially like Cristiano Ronaldo, and when we were shooting him, it was like also years ago. But you've got it, you know. Then he's out.
Of course.
You know, you can't play around, you know. So
I think that's
more like this is the layout, you know. Okay, picture one, you got it. Yeah. Okay, picture two, okay. Move out, you know. He's out.
Whereas, I think the thing is, you enjoy the photography, you enjoy pressing the shutter, right? So then you've got this, you've got these people that are willing to work with you, and you kind of just keep going, don't you? Because you're getting great shots, you're feeling the vibe. And you keep punching them out.
It's all about energy, you know. So
That's very true. Yeah, it is all about energy. Energy of the subject, energy of you, and if that energy works between the two, then you obviously chemistry rocks, and you get a fantastic set of images. So you've done obviously studio, sort of rock stars, pop stars, musicians, famous sports people, less famous sports people. But an image you shared with me is of some ballet dancing,
I love that.
Which is a bit different. Now, talk us through this. What's the story here?
Well, like Martin, he's an art director. He's from Me Studio from Amsterdam, and so he asked me. But I think I was shooting like 8 years in a row, or like 8 years, something like that. Do all the posters for every how do you say that ballet? How do you call it?
Ballet dancers. The Royal Ballet?
The performance, every ballet performance.
Okay, yeah.
You know what I mean?
So for every performance that would come out. So every new ballet, basically.
Yeah, for every season we were shooting like I don't know how much, you know, like maybe 10 different pictures, 10 different poses. So we're working quite close with Martin and me to visualize this, and they I work with quite a lot with athletes and sport guys, you know, but those people, those ballet guys, they are really like so in control of their body, you know. That's amazing. It's really amazing.
Yeah,
it's really cool.
That when you talk about working to visualize in your process, to visualize the shoot, what's the sort of process that you go through, especially bearing in mind you've got these people who, as you say, I mean, unlike sports men are very different. They are very particular, and their moves are, they have to be perfect.
Yeah.
So what's the process?
Well, we worked like for this, like for a season. We were thinking about the theme, and that thing we talked about. So we talked about it with the CEO of the National Ballet, and then it was okay. And then we worked it for every ballet performance. We worked like the picture out, like the concept out.
Yeah.
In the sense of this is the background, this is how we see it in big lines, and then this picture is no styling, with makeup. There is some pictures that were styling, and then we asked what they can do, how the ballet dancer, how did they see it, like what kind of jump or how do they see it? And then I don't know. This is it.
So what was the story behind these two? This is a single shot, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a single shot. Honestly, sorry, man. I forgot. I'm really bad at names. I forgot how is it called? The performance.
Swan Lake.
No, it's not Swan Lake. No. I forgot it.
It will come to you.
No,
or you can.
No, not a chance. No.
Okay, well, if it does, we can add it into the notes or put it into the comments later. But
I would look it up. No, but
you've got a screen between the two of them here, by the looks of it.
Yeah. And the funny thing is, and that's so like his legs going through. You see in the shadow going through her legs, but that's coincidence,
Is it?
Yeah. And
there's no Photoshop trickery in there.
No. And that's what I like about like photography. We didn't see it on the in the studio. We saw it later.
Okay.
More the coincidence. That's what I like as well. In photography.
Yeah, no, well, that's fantastic coincidence actually, because I was looking at this picture earlier, trying to figure out if you'd done some Photoshop on there, and actually just how it was.
Like every image, that every image got some Photoshop, but this kind of things I would never Photoshop. This. It's too obvious then, you know what I mean? This was really like a coincidence.
Yeah. It's the most marvelous coincidence, really, isn't it?
Yeah. All right. Thanks. But they're ballet dancers, all credits to them.
Yeah. Very, very, very different people. So you still continue to shoot dance?
No. That's a different story, That's they swap like the marketing director, and they kicked us out, So
no more. Maybe again.
No more. No.
Do you do any of it in personal work?
Yeah. Sorry?
Do you do any of it in personal work?
Like ballet?
Yeah, or dance as a whole?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I do.
Okay. Have you got any projects that you're working on recently or currently?
Well, now with I do with we've got with the COVID, I've got a photo challenge with a friend of mine. So I take a picture and he responds on this, and I respond on his picture, and then so on. Like a small, just for fun, My oldest daughter, she's helping me out, Sometimes she's a model, sometimes she's the light assistant, sometimes she's the photographer, So it's just fun, with just doing some fun stuff.
Is there anywhere that you've published this?
Yeah, there's some on my Instagram.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so we all need to go find Ruud's Instagram photo challenge. I like that idea. Was this your idea, or was this your friend's idea?
No, it was mine idea. Yeah, honestly, yeah.
to keep you occupied.
Yeah, but it's true. Keep you occupied. Yeah.
So the bang bang shot that you shared with me, was this your idea as well?
Yeah, it was my idea. Yeah, well, together with Bang Bang.
So what is Bang Bang?
Bang Bang, he's like a hip hop artist.
Ah, okay. I didn't twig that.
Yeah, he's more like in poetry now. He's quite a character, He's from the UK as well. He's living in Holland. And I shot. This is also. We shoot also photography, and we're shooting also like a video clip. It's from a video clip as well.
Okay. So is this a still that you've pulled from the video, or is this? No.
I was shooting next to, so like next to the DOP.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And your idea here, I mean, this was your concept, right?
Well, together with Bang Bang. With Bang Bang, so together we make the concept, how small the concept of how it is. So he's dressing his own room, and he's well, you have to see the video clip, so it's quite fun.
And we can find that on your Vimeo channel.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Yeah. I'm gonna go check it out, because that's.
Yeah,
it's like a violent clip. It's another side of Ruud's creativity coming out there.
Yeah,
it's a bit more of the dark side of you, really, isn't it?
No, a little bit. No, not really. No, but I still also it's also with blowing up things, and like smashing things. I don't know. It's like toys for boys, Quite like that.
Yeah, that's it. There's quite a male skew, I think, kind of almost a dominant male skew towards some of your photography. Apart from obviously the female on the top of the roof and the female ballet dancer, but there's a lot of we mentioned it's powerful. It's quite sort of strong photography, isn't it? The sort of there's a male dominant streak going through it. Summarized by that shot. You shared an interesting set though. It's on location. It's nothing to do with lighting. It's of a series of 8 shots of a man sort of boxing with himself. What's this all about here?
Yeah. Well, it's what I like about being a photographer. Is like, well, it's obviously like taking pictures, but also like meeting new people, but also meeting new countries or locations, So I shot this in Gansu in China. So like it's a desert, So we like shooting there for for 5 or 6 days in the desert, And I was just meeting I was the only European guy between all Chinese guys. And it was quite interesting and fun. So, those guys, they were living was I think 4 models. They were all from America and one from Russia. So it's not true that they are but they were living in China as well.
So this one shot in the sort of desert of this guy boxing. Who is he though?
Oh, he's he's a model, an athlete. Yeah, and he's a student. He was living in, but this is commercial work, But also we were quite free to do whatever we like to do. So okay, maybe boxing here, yeah, sure. Maybe like skipping rope over there. So we were quite just maybe like the same vibe as Essex in South Africa.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
the energy, but then in China. You know?
But also sort of almost an exploration of the boxing move there. Kind of to almost see almost like a full cycle. That's what it feels like. It's almost
yeah, precisely. But it's also maybe they didn't use this, I think, you know. But it's more also for me. It's like the sequence, but also maybe a reference to the old school, like the analog, you know, like the how do you call that? Where you're picking out the negative on one.
Yeah. On
You know
your
what I mean?
on the contact sheet, so you're selecting one shot.
Context. Sorry, man. Yeah, that's the word. Yeah.
I rather like the way that you presented it though, as a sort of as a series of shots to show the actual sequence. It's almost like this set of images from the horse movement. There was, you know, this famous photographer now totally escaped. Who
Gonna Google it?
Yeah, I'm gonna Google it. I can't remember his name. Oh my goodness me!
I can't help you out, man. What I said before, I'm really bad at names, you know.
Yeah, no, I'm.
But, well, I know what you mean.
Yeah, so it's a little bit like that, where you're sort of demonstrating the flow and how actually how the boxer works. It's nice. It's very different. In comparison to a lot of your work, this shows a sort of more natural side to it. You know, you haven't got the benefit of studio lights. You haven't got bright primary colors. It's just down to more the raw, almost the raw side of Ruud, which is a little bit like that bang bang shot, a little bit like the Asics work. You know, I think you've got work that is really striking, studio, you know, kind of colorful, powerful, energetic, and you're using almost all the elements, you know, light, paint, water, color. Whereas this other side is, you know, you've got just the pure talent, shall we say, and the connection you have with those people. And that's really what that photography boils down to. Obviously, they need to know what they're doing, but it's when you know when to pull the trigger. So a bit like, you know, like we said in the intro, you know how to capture that precise moment. You're sort of Cartier-Bresson in that style. It's bang, this is it, and you've really nailed it. I think in a lot of that stuff, it's very natural, very kind of casual.
Thank you.
Which stark contrast to the last picture that we thought we'd talk about. Now I have to confess, I wanted to speak to you about this because I did my research, but I couldn't come up with anything as an explanation. So this last, not the one I just put up, apologies viewers, but this last shot I have here is Zelig.
Yeah.
And I couldn't fathom this one, but this is another classic kind of Ruud. Bright color, dark contrast, shadow, quirky, weird, odd. But who is this guy? And tell me what's going on.
Well, he's like he's a model, you know, Zelig, and it was free work, and later on we published it in a magazine, in a Spanish magazine. But it was also like, what I like about it is like the collaboration with Isis Vandrager. She's a stylist who I worked with her for years and years and years already. So well, you can do a lot with light and a lot with, you know, but you need, what also special about this is, well, the model actually as well, but also the styling, you know. I think the styling is so good here as well, you know. So yeah, I don't know. I quite like it. I quite like the picture, you know. Quite like, and I like the collaboration between Isis and me as well. Yeah.
You have to share with me her Instagram tag, and I can stick it in the sort of bio part of the YouTube video. You've been working with her a long time. Do you ever have any input on the fashion side of it? You kind of, obviously it's very prominent in a lot of your work. Do you collaborate with her, or does she sort of lead that, and then you lead more the setup, the lighting and colors?
Yeah, well, in advance we talk about it, what we're gonna do, and it's colorful and this and this, and then she brings loads of clothing, and then on set she's just trying out, and it's okay, this can work, this can work, and then that's the way we work, So,
and so this project here was one of many that you've done, sort of as portfolio, should we say, work that you then look to push out.
Free work, yeah.
And how much of that do you spend your time doing, would you say, normally?
I don't know, man. I don't know. I have to do it more, I have to do it more. So especially now this time, like I have to do it more. I don't know.
Enough.
I don't know. Huh?
You've got to come up with some good ideas now, then, right?
Yeah.
So
it's more like, but the thing is also like it's we have to work with a stylist, with model, makeup, and then everybody comes together to the studio. It's I don't know. I have to do more like free work. That's for sure.
Are there any people out there that you'd like to shoot that you haven't, that you could potentially sort of bring into these new sets of projects?
Like models, I mean.
Models or famous people, or even, should we say, sort of not necessarily a person, but a thing, like you obviously shot runners and athletes and ballet. Is there something that you haven't shot that you'd like to?
Oh, that's a good one. I don't know. Honestly, I'm quite. But I didn't shoot. I don't know.
Put you on the spot.
I think about it.
I've put you on the spot.
Yeah. No, I don't know. I'm sorry.
All right. Well, scratch that bit.
Yeah. No worries.
No, we'll scratch that bit from the film. Tell me, what do you think is your favourite shoot out of all the years? I mean, you've been shooting for a long time. You've shot an enormous amount of people. On your website, you list a ridiculous amount of names.
Honestly, I think what I said, like for the supermarket, with all the soccer players and all the, I think that's one of my favorite. There was a question. What was my favorite shoot or not?
Which?
There was a question. No, for the supermarket. I think that's one of my favorite. Yeah.
That is okay. Yeah.
And also,
No, go on. Also.
Sorry. No, and also all the years when we talked about it through as well, and all the years working for the ballet. I think that was quite interesting as well. So working with those great talent.
Yeah. Beautiful. I think you should go and focus on trying to shoot some more dance. Kind of if you take a lot of the type of imagery that I see on your Instagram, which is studio based. You've got lots of I mentioned it earlier. I don't quite know what they are. But there's vertical lights, strip lights, poles that you've got footballers kicking through. Really sort of crazy background colors. I think if you took that and applied it to sort of ballet and not necessarily pure ballet, but dance, modern dance, modern ballet, you'd come up with a pretty eclectically beautiful set of imagery, I think. Stuff that I don't think's necessarily been done particularly. If you look back at that stuff that we did all those years ago in Berlin, it's along those lines. You had modern dance, to play with. Maybe you could look at that as a project. I'll quite happily come over to Amsterdam and help you put that one together. We can process, we can visualize that one together.
That's a deal. That's a deal, Charlie. That's good. That's good. I like to have some input as well. Sometimes, you know, you like. Well, everybody's got it. You know, you're quite. Sometimes you're a little bit blocked. You know.
Yes. Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
I fully understand. I think it's interesting talking to you because I'm the same, and I think it's very clear that you have a lot of ideas. I can see something similar in myself. You have a lot of ideas, but you have to have a purpose for those ideas. So, you know, you've got ASAP Rocky, you know, you've got him. What are you going to do with him? You've got Stekelenburg or the football team. What are you going to do with them? You've got the ballet guys. What are you going to do with them? But I pose you the question, who would you most like to shoot? And there you struggle. So I think if you've got a good idea, it only comes to you when you've got a real sort of purpose to it. So I think we take the ballet dancers and we apply that that creative art direction to it and come up with a focus. But I can see that's generally the way you work. You need that that focused person, subject, should I say, for you to build the concept around. Not unfamiliar to many photographers, obviously, but I think that I can see that in you. So tell me, Ruud, you know, we despite you thinking it wouldn't, we're almost hit an hour. You know, we've touched on COVID. We've touched on how you've not been quite as busy as you'd like to be, but you have done some work, and you know, kind of it's my 20th conversation in COVID, and it's the last day for me personally where things are how they have been for 6 months. My own daughter goes back to school tomorrow, so I feel like it's definitely the last time, maybe at least the last time I posed the question. But COVID has changed a lot for a lot of people. Do you think? Can you name me one thing that you feel COVID has changed, likely forever, and that can be with relation to your industry and how you work, or in life as a whole? You know, I've just said I'll come to Amsterdam, but actually, I'm reticent to because of where we're at.
Yeah. Well, I think what changed now, especially for the work, you know, what I do, is we can do it with less people as well, you know, and we can still how do you say that? Get the same amount of pictures, same quality, but with less people. I think that's a lesson what we learned, you know. So
smaller crew.
Smaller crew, yeah. Not too much people, you know. You know, the more people are on set, the more, you know, time it costs, you know, more, how you say that, more opinions, So I think that's a lesson, So that's positive.
Yeah. Possibly not for the freelancers who'd like to be on set, but I totally understand. And you're not the first.
You know what I mean? It's also it's also from an advertising agency. Sometimes they come with, I don't know, with 8 people. You know, they've got, you know, maybe they can come now with 1 or 2. You know? It's enough.
Absolutely, yeah. Reduce the size of the amount of people. I've said it always. A lot of people love shoots and they love coming along to the shoots. There's the glamour, the cool side of it, etc. But I think that's part of the reset, isn't it? Less people will come, and it won't be quite so many opinions floating around on set.
Yeah.
Well, look, Ruud, it's been cool. It's been cool talking to you. Thanks very much for sharing some insights knowledge and thoughts around some of your picks and how you've shot them, and taking the time to come and join me on my little show. I'm going to say bye for now.
Thank you, Charlie. Thank you for everything. Sorry for my poor English.
That's not that poor. Honestly, you spoke. Don't worry. How many? I interviewed another Dutchman a couple of weeks ago, and his English was, he was good. Dutch people's English is good. We had a conversation for an hour. You managed it. Thumbs up. Where's the camera?
Okay. All right. Thanks.
Ruud, thanks very much. Take care.
Okay, take care, Charlie. Bye.
So thank you to Ruud. That was a very interesting conversation. Really nice to see how someone is off camera, the other side of the camera. Having worked with Ruud, I can honestly say he's a fabulous person to collaborate with. Clearly, from the discussion, you can see that collaboration is the name of his game. That's where some of his best ideas come from. Let's hope we see more of that come out of him over the next months, years, and maybe him and I will put that ballet studio-based photography idea into action. But for now, thanks very much for joining. Do come again, and if you are interested in purchasing any prints, then head over to charliepinphoto.co.uk. All the best for now, and thanks for joining.